Welcome to a cruise ship heist, which comes in 44 parts. I thought it was 55, but I couldn't count. Now we've added it up. It is definitely 44 parts. Enjoy! Chapter 33. Blue Lights. As our returning canoes leave the camp behind, I spot the blue lights of a police force welcoming committee flickering in the distance. Carlos is in the front of our canoe. I've managed to keep him close throughout the afternoon, but as we near the shore, it becomes obvious I haven't kept him close enough. I had removed the SIM card from his cellular phone before I returned it, but he could have borrowed anyone's to turn me in. Despite the lack of clothing and pockets, the tribe's people all had modern smartphones. I have no disguise with which to camouflage myself, other than Jill, my new wife. "Do you like them?" Jill says, showing me her arm. "A young girl did this while I was being massaged. A 2-week tattoo. It's pretty. I have another one." "Where?" I ask, but I'm more interested in the police waiting on the bank. "Somewhere sexy," she teases. "I'll never get to see it," I say, meaning I could be arrested. "You might," she says, and I realize things have gone too far. Jill is sitting between my legs in the canoe home, laying back on me. "And I bought this," she says, holding up a small bag of powder. "Drugs?" "No, it's holistic. It's a mixture of medicinal plants and natural remedies blessed by a mystical ritual. And that's the police waiting on the bank. I wonder if they will believe you." "Oh." We are guided away from the canoes and back towards our small classic coach. A police investigation is in progress. An area is taped off and police dogs are sniffing. But not sniffing for me, not sniffing for Jill's drugs, and no one is checking faces against a picture. Carlos does not have any desire to call them over. His body language suggests he is very wary of the police, and he is trying to blend in with the tourists. Then I see Hunter, in his officer whites, leaning on a police car with another officer whose uniform has a slightly different trim. They stand with 2 old, unfit police officers, sporting an embarrassment of medals on their breast pockets. The text I sent Hunter as to my potential problem must have been delivered. He gives me the slightest of nods, which could be to any of the ship's guests, but I know this elaborate charade is of his making and is designed to escort me safely back on board. The 2 ship's officers step toward the front of our group. "Any of you guys with the Sisu?" Hunter asks, using the nickname for the ship. There's pride as they respond yes. Hunter smiles, rubbing his hands together. "Good. I can go." He walks up to the line, greeting everyone and ensuring they had a wonderful day out. Under the smile he gives me, he demands to know where my problem is. "Who?" he asks so briefly it is lost. I indicate Carlos so he can watch him. Our small coach is tailed all the way by the police car, and behind that is Carlos, in his Aparicio supplies van. Hunter is smart, and I'm ready to be amused by the tale when I'm safely back on board. Our bus stops and empties. The police car lets the 2 officers out. They shake hands, laugh and split towards their respective tender stations. Both ships have erected a simple 12-foot square, easy-up shelter with the ship's name and company logo printed on the canopy. They are about 100 meters apart and must come out at every tender port. Jill and I are at the back of the group, who are now interrogating Hunter. "What was happening back there?" a guest asks. "A tourist discovered a jacket, covered with blood on it. The local police jumped to attention if any tourist might be in trouble. They called me down, as I'm head of security for the ship, and my colleague from the other ship. I'm waiting for one more tour to come back. A coach at 38, but I know they're all safe. If you get this tender, it can come back for them, and we'll be the first to the locks this evening." "Whose jacket was it?" another guest asks. "No idea, but I told them None of our guests would have been wearing a cheap jacket like that. Every member of the cruise ship staff has a little entertainer about them. And none of you would have been carrying a .44 Magnum that shot him 5 times, Hunter adds dramatically. He was dead? A lady asks. Shot 5 times. Of course he's dead, her friend adds. We don't know. The dead person just left the blood-stained jacket behind. Hunter shrugs, and they all seem confused. How do you know it was a .44 Magnum if they didn't find the gun or the body? Another guest asks. Hunter shakes his head slowly, looking at them. You're all making stories up quicker than me now. By dinner, it'll become an angry mob with machine guns. And the brave officer from security, Hunter, that's me, fought them off with his bare hands. Could it have been a crew member? One of the guests suggests. Who? Hunter asks. In the tawdry jacket, a male cruiser adds. How did you know the jacket was tawdry? Wait, were you the shooter? Hunter teases, and the entertainment continues. The crew have nicer clothes than some of the guests, another cruiser jokes with edge. Dress code is slipping. They certainly have better teeth, another says. We're all employed on our ability to smile. Hunter beams, deliberately showing all his teeth. Everyone is chatting, either about the day out or the show that Hunter has staged to ensure my safe journey back. I can see the lump in his waistband, which tells me he came armed just in case. Would you like to have dinner with me tonight? I want to say thank you, Jill whispers. Flattered, I wonder if this is what real life is like. I would, but sadly I can't, I admit. I'm working. Working? She asks. You're a passenger. I am, but I'm guest staff. I do the commentary back out through the locks, I explain, as plainly as I can. You're the canal expert. I thought I recognized your voice. At least I'm not being refused because you have a wife. She grins and pecks my lips. The group starts to board the lifeboat tender, and I see Carlos standing by his van and holding his useless cell. He points angrily at me, shaking his head, then runs his hand across his throat. I look away and notice that Hunter saw what a problem Carlos might be. Chapter 34. Commentary. A partial transit of the Panama Canal doesn't mean we enter the canal in one piece and only some of us manage to get out. However, many workers did go in to earn a wage and never come out. The death toll is estimated at around 28,000 due to violence, disease, and poor working conditions during many construction attempts connecting the 51-mile journey. The Panama Canal shaves about 7,800 miles off the sea journey from New York to San Francisco and avoids the dangerous rounding of Cape Horn at the tip of South America. Bringing Jill with me to the bridge while I do my second commentary has saved me from the practical jokes. They would have been far more extreme now the captain and his crew know I can take them. Once again, she has proved to be a good foil. The officers know exactly the card I've played and are thinking hard. I, on the other hand, don't know how I've managed it. Jill looks radiant in a beautiful long silver dress, cocktail glass in hand, looking out at the Gatun locks below. The diving front neckline shows the tempting start of a new tattoo that goes down further along with every officer's imagination. You left these behind last time, a young officer says to me, handing back my first notes, just as I'm about to raise the microphone again. He's lingering. He's been sent as a test, like a gang initiation. I notice his trainee rank from his name badge, Junior Officer Bashvarov. My notes are just back up, but I take them, and I move my current notes away from him. I guess he was challenged with swapping them, and he's blown his chance. I wear a covert earpiece. Everything's been pre-recorded into my mobile. I learnt that when showing the Queen around the Royal Yacht Britannia, I tease. He walks away slowly to report back, and will no doubt be chastised for repeating the stupid tale if he believed it and dares to. I am way too young to have shown the Queen round her own yacht. I take the microphone again. The lowest toll ever paid through these chambers was 36 cents back in 1928, when Richard Halliburton swam the Panama Canal. That's about $20 in today's money. Jill is impressed. We'll be through the locks soon, and we'll make it in time for our table in the Asian restaurant that she has reserved. I'm looking forward to it. It takes about 8 minutes to fill each of these chambers on the way in, going up. The way out, going down, it's about the same time. The fastest transit of the whole canal was by the US Navy hydrofoil, the Pegasus, in 2 hours and 41 minutes, Pacific to Atlantic. The average time for a cruise ship is about 8 hours, but they normally add a stop in the lakes, as we did today. I switch the mic off. In the glass window, I see the reflection of the bridge door open, revealing Georgie, who is also dressed to kill. I turn and smile. She smiles at me, but her eyes have already flicked to the left and seen Jill. "Georgie," I announce. "No sail-away party? You're the party tonight. Where's the uniform?" She scolds. "Uniform?" Jill asks, not wanting to step aside for Georgie. "You're not crew." "We don't let army boys on the bridge," the captain chimes in, walking over to meet Georgie. "I like a man in uniform," Jill says cheekily, teasing the bridge crew as much as me. "Me too," adds Georgie, exciting all the young officers as she matches Jill. "I didn't want to out-ribbon the captain," I joke. The captain smiles the comment away, and I realise I feel very at home on the ship. I wonder if all the ships will be this easy. Not that the last 2 days have been a walk in the park. "I came to see if you wanted to have dinner, but it looks like you already have a date," Georgie says. "I can check my diary," I tease, "but it's filling up quickly." "Why don't you join us?" Jill offers, but I know she doesn't mean it. Georgie knows too. "I'll wait till he's in uniform," Georgie winks. "Maybe tomorrow. I'll see if I can move things around." Although she's my boss, and I've only known her 2 days, sharing a secret bonds us together. Until, that is, she finds out there's another 20 million on board. Georgie leaves, and I ease over to Jill as the phone alarms. This is not just any phone ring, but an important one, and everyone in the room turns. The phone is beside the main chair, behind the 2 officers driving the ship. That is the captain's line, and the one he alone must answer. As he listens, he looks genuinely concerned. Everyone watches him, wondering what's gone wrong. "I'll be straight there," he says into the phone. "Hold this position," he orders, rushing to the door. He is courteous enough to address me, or maybe it is Jill. "Excuse me, it appears we have several stowaways." My muscles tense. This sounds like the inevitable second wave of gunmen, sent to complete what the first lone one failed to achieve. "Do you need the army?" I say, to keep a firm request as light as possible. I want to assess the strength of the enemy.